I've judged.
Use the Force, Luke.
Sometimes truth isn't good enough.
I feel the need for speed.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Because it's their time. Their time. Up there. Down here, it's our time. It's our time down here.
All right. Wardens rise. It's Wednesday. It's FrostCast episode 069. Winterwolf is here for you. Kingsley is coming in soon. Lots to cover, but we're focused on one thing almost for the entirety of the show tonight. We've got to do a deep cut into Stranger Things. Season 5's right around the corner. We're going to jump in the Wayback Machine. We're going to see where it all began, what works, what didn't hold up, where they might have gone wrong in a couple of places, favorite character bits, favorite plot arcs. We're going to talk about it all. We get Stranger Things we've got to pick bones with all over the place, but we're going to give it a lot of props and a lot of glaze as well. So I'm going to bring Kingsley in and yeah, let me get a setup over here on the alt device for chatting purposes in case the Oracle's logged in under my name again. Just saying, dude, what's going on, boss?
What's happening? How you doing this Wednesday night?
Dude, doing. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that you insisted that we rock on with this particular topic. I think this was a solid idea. We were just talking like literally 5 seconds ago that there's so much to cover of season 5 coming up to next week that we don't know when we're gonna, like, we have to watch it. We have to get it out there. We have to be able to talk about it in real time. This show's too big. It's too big to miss. It's literal FOMO.
Yeah.
Literal.
Yeah. Even how the run times for each episode is longer than what a short film would be, but it's still considered a shorter film, not a short film.
It's right on the line film. For feature. Right on the line.
No, features anything over 49 minutes.
Get out of here. I thought it was 80 minutes to make a feature. I stand corrected. Nicely done.
That's the difference between a feature film and a short film is the 49-minute mark.
Oh, cool. I stand corrected, and I guess that makes sense why I was hearing the other day they're going to put the season 5 series finale in theaters.
Which I think is like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's like legit like movie experience there. Dude, before we get started on the show and the Wayback Machine, how do you think that's going to do in theaters? Do you think people will show up for that, like a Taylor Swift sing-along or like a Wicked kind of viewing experience? Do you think people want to see that?
You have to make it an experience type go. Like, you have to build that experience to get people there. I think it will be a good way to recoup a little bit of the fun that was in this show that was lost due to circumstances beyond their control.
That's going to be tough for them because this isn't a musical. I don't know what kind of interactive or fan experience they can put out there for you in the theaters. Pape's asking how many will there be? How many episodes? I believe it's 8. And they're all long. They're all very long.
Yeah, 4, 3, 1, and 1.
What's that? Oh, the breakdowns.
Oh no, it's 4, 1, and 1. No, it's 6. I think it's 6 episodes.
I don't know that shit. I remember all those fake infographics that came up, and I know that I thought there was a block, and then the finale on New Year's Eve is how I thought it was breaking down. Yeah, that's right, dude. What's going on, dude? Enjoy the climb of Khazad-dûm. He's in the middle of building the fort on top of the mountain.
Okay.
He probably will not be in much. Oracle says 8 episodes. That's kind of what. And she logged in by herself too. All right, nice. There we go.
All right. Well, speaking of Oracle, she's standing by with our poll question of the night.
Yes. Let's get into
our poll question tonight for the chat is: what is your favorite season of Stranger Things? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Kind of works out. So.
let me yeah, and I like how she's pretty slick too. See, you didn't read all the poll options verbatim, and I feel like
I did not.
Deserves to be. Let me have this. So season 1 is the OG. Season 2 is the worst side storyline. Fact. Season 3 is Rats and Billy. Also fact. And season 4 is Surfer Boy, Pie, and Eddie. Yeah.
Just in case you forgot the main key points in these.
Dude, it makes the vote even easier for me because I think outside of that episode in season 2, everything that happened to do with that stupid pizza shop in season 4 is so wildly forgettable. Like, it didn't make me want to wash my eyes out with bleach or anything, but like it did nothing for me in terms of the narrative they were going for. You know what I mean? Like, what did it add? Like nothing, just stoner pizza guys. Didn't need it. I didn't need Jay and Silent Bob and my Stranger Things. I just didn't. And
But Jay and Silent Bob made everything better.
I mean, except for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
What do you mean? That was the best Jay and Silent Bob.
The best Jay and Silent Bob was either Clerks or what the hell was the other one? They geared in briefly. I don't even remember. I don't want to get sidetracked with that. Too much Stranger Things talk about.
They're in all of them.
That was their feature. They appeared in something else on the side that was funny.
They
I
were
can't
in
remember what it was.
all of Kevin Smith's movies.
Yeah, but there was one of them that was stand up funny, like stand out funny. But we're not talking about that. Stay on focus. We got a limited time here today, and we got 2 shows to review on top of that. We should probably tell everybody that, dude. What are we doing after the big Stranger Things discussion?
We have 2 shows coming up. We are going to be looking at Welcome to Derry episode 4, season 1, episode 4. Is it still going on glide path? And then wrapping that up, we're going to be watching Robin Hood. Is he finally in the hood?
I think he is. I don't want to bury the lead on that one, but there's some superhero origin shit going on in that episode. I mean, the dude literally, you know what I mean? He really did. But we'll get to that in a little bit. We're probably going to do about 45, 50 minutes on Stranger Things and just kind of reset the board going into season 5. So I guess, the first thing I would ask you, dude, is, was Stranger Things the kind of show for you that you watched on launch, like when it came out? Were you there for the binge drop on the weekend, or did someone tell you about it like when season 2 was rolling around and you got in late?
Well,
because I got in late.
No one really told me about it. I was not there on launch. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was just some stupid Netflix show because let's just say it, they did not have the best track record to date at that point.
No, not in 2016. They didn't.
They did not. So I was a little skeptical. You see it on the preview, you kind of skip through it. And then we were in the apartment at the time. And I think we just said, you want to check this out? And we started watching it, and the 80s vibe just grabbed me because, I mean, who doesn't want to go back to the 80s? I mean, it seems like the theme of every book coming out that's doing time travel right now is everyone's going back to the 80s. Because it was a better time. It was just a better time.
There's imagination's running wild, man. That's why all that stuff circles back. That's why, I don't think we're going to get that nostalgic impulse for the 90s outside of maybe horror. I don't think we'll be seeing a Stranger Things based in the 90s type of show. I think it really is 80s or bust for that kind of throwback stuff.
You to do stranger internet things in the late 90s.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it would be for me. Pape says, haven't watched, tried. Dude, of Stranger Things, dude, really? I don't know how you didn't. Honestly, if you're a couple years older than we are, this should be, I imagine this would have been right in your wheelhouse. It's got Amblin Entertainment stamped all over it. It's basically the Goonies meets E.T. meets Kingsley. Throw a couple of other pieces to the pie in there.
Oh, it has a mystery built in on top of sci-fi, on top of like it has D&D at its core.
Right. And that's half the hook. And that's actually what I was going to say just to start the discussion on why it's so effective from jump. It's like, if you're any kind of kid that grew up in the burbs in like the 80s, the first 10 minutes of this show is a day from your life. You know what I mean? It's you playing D&D in the half-finished basement of a friend's house, for 8 hours or whatever, and like having to get home before the streetlights get up. And you ride your bikes because you had to go to someone's house to hang out and do the thing.
There were no phones. There were no computers. No, video games were like the Atari 2600 back then. Right. That was video games back in the day.
They talk about high scores and pole position and shit.
Pole position, Pong.
References, Dig Dug in season 2. But yeah, dude, this was quintessentially like the existence for like hundreds of thousands of kids. Too much hype, not enough return on set. Wow, dude, that's surprising to me, man. Because unlike other shows that took me a little while to get into, like Breaking Bad, stuff like that, this show had a hook instantly because the pacing is so airtight. The mystery comes on so airtight, and they leave you with like a high stakes situation early on at the end of that episode with the disappearance of Will Byers that you don't know what to expect next. And I felt literally compelled to keep watching, to continue the binge. And I think I lost King
Who's
Z.
this other child?
There he is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm frozen.
No, you're
Okay,
good. Start over.
Okay. I said it. And you have a second mystery built in. Like, who is this kid that they find in the forest now that people are killing over?
Yeah, dude. I think a lot of people forget that too. Is like at like the 15-20 minute mark in that episode of season 1, it's she's escaped the lab. She's at the diner, and that poor son of a bitch literally gets his head blown off for doing her no harm other than, hey, gave her ice cream and French fries, and the lab came to reclaim their runaway test animal, because that's what she is to them. They tattooed the poor girl. You know what I mean? It's like, there's some serious. They got 80s government sinisterisms. You got secret government labs. You got kids playing D&D, and everything from their worldview is imprinted on the story. How they overreact to the grown-ups, and how they're not doing things quick enough, and how everything, if it's this big, it's this big. Like they're typical preteens, and you remember that feeling. How
they believe that an adult should be able to fix anything as fast as you can see fit.
Right. Because they see the answer so concretely obvious at their developmental level. You know what I mean? That they think it should just be this easy, and that there is black and white, right and wrong, and there is no shades of gray. I kind of envy the simplicity of and the innocence of their outlook, you know. But there are other things to consider. We realize that as we grow up. But while I'm there, like you buy into these kids instantly. You buy into this group of friends instantly, because they're all smart, they're all nerdy, they're all like they're not outcasts, like they're not like the losers club, because they legit have each other and other connections to other people. We see them get tighter later as the show goes on, you know, but they're quintessential 80s families. Like they all have decent families. Like not like only one of the kids is like a divorced parent household, because in the 80s that shit hadn't happened yet. It was starting to.
It was starting to.
Right.
The divorce rates really started hitting in the 90s when where it hit like over 50% divorce rates and stuff like that.
Right. You know, but like, so it hit on an experience that was shared by enough people, and had been, even if that wasn't your experience, because television in the 80s reflected that kind of family unit, whether it was Growing Pains or Family Matters.
Family Ties.
You know what I'm saying? I was just picking two, but that's what I mean. They were all
Tool Time.
Home Improvement. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, so it didn't matter if that wasn't your particular experience. You had that shared experience of being able to see Roseanne. You had that was on television, so people knew what that nuclear group looked like. You know, so this felt familiar. This felt instantly familiar. You know, like right off the bat there. And I wanted, and as a writer and talking to a fellow writer right now, they do a lot of heavy lifting with character early in this show. Tons. You get everything you need to know about these boys and their personalities almost instantly. Will's the meek one, but he's honest. Like, he admits that the die that he rolled, the one they lost, wouldn't have been enough to kill the Demogorgon. The Demogorgon got me. You know that. You know Lucas and Dustin have a little rivalry back and forth, but they're still boys. And you know Mike's the leader because he's the DM. We get all that instantly. He's the brains, right? But we also learn about Mike's family, particularly his older sister. She used to be cool. Now she's like 14, 15, or however old she is, and she's starting to age out of playing in their campaigns and being the cool older sister. Now she's like bitchy teen. They get a lot of that stuff out of the way really early. We'll talk about that for a minute if you don't mind.
Okay.
I mean,
you want me to talk? Oh, you want me to talk?
I already did 2 minutes. You get 15 seconds. Go.
I thought you said let's talk about that for a minute.
I already did. You go.
Okay. All right.
You go before we lose pay permanently.
The way that they outline the people in this is great. Like and it's not just the main kids. It's not just their initial families. Because you really don't see Lucas's family until later. You see his sister, but you never see his parents. Right. You never really see
2 or 3.
You only meet Dustin's mom like once or twice
in season 2.
So, so you don't really see their family. So you know this is really centered around Mike's family because you meet the mom, you meet the dad, the little sister, the big sister. But the other people that they hammer home quickly is Will's mom, because we all know that Will's the one that disappeared, and you see the torment that she's going through, and she's going through that whole single mom thing. She has the older son who kind of fills in as, you know, her full-time babysitter, just because
Second
by
income.
chance he's the oldest. But you also have like Hopper, and you can tell he's not a normal police chief. Like there's other stuff that's going on inside of him, because he doesn't really care about his appearance. He's there in his hometown Hawkins as the chief of police because he's a big time city cop who came home because of tragedy. And it's like, you could tell who these people are. Like some of us might have met people like this growing up. Like they feel real. They're not just characters on a screen. They feel like someone you could have met in the small town where me and Winter Wolf met. These are like people that we could definitely meet in that small town.
100%.
Yep, I did talk.
100%. Keep going. Tell me more about Hopper and his design as a character.
Well, Hopper is the guy who's trying to overcome tragedy, yet he doesn't really take his job seriously, but he takes his job seriously, especially when there's kids involved. And that's when you start seeing a lot more of like his personality come out and like his good cop side of him, not his, I come in at 9:30. I'm half drunk. My shirt's untucked and
stuffing a donut.
Yeah,
for sure. They played that pretty slick too, because they set him up to be that semi-fat dad bod bumbling Homer, small town cop. But it's like you said, the minute he sits down to talk to Joyce, he's filing the report, but like he hears her, because he's like, 99% of the time a kid comes back after they run away. She says, "What about the one time?" He's like, "What?" It's just, "What about the one time? Then what do we do?" And that activates something in his head. So then he goes all search mode and does all the things. And then they drip feed you. So it's Hopper the Copper. That's David. That's Hellboy 2.
Yeah, David Harbour.
Technically, that's David Harbour. Red Guardian, if you will.
Yeah.
They drip feed you his backstory over the episodes to let you know that, he had a kid. He lost a kid. They don't really tell you how or why or what circumstances. And for a minute, you think it's just because he got divorced and maybe she went with mom, but it's not that. And they give you like the ultimate reveal on that in like the finale, as he's pounding on the real Will Byers' chest doing the CPR in probably the most grim scene in that entire series. I would argue it's even better than the Max scene from season 4 running up that hill. The Hopper doing the CPR, it was next level emotionally assassinating for me when I saw that the first time.
But also you could tell that him and Joyce had a past.
Yep.
Like you could
tell they went to the same high school in a small town, right?
Yeah. So there's another underlying story there of who are these two people to each other and like how everyone else lines up. And then they throw in like a whole bunch of color characters throughout that either bad things happen to or they're just there for a moment.
Bad things, you say? Can we get the Oracle to roll my people we've lost graphic there? It's the one with the 4 squares. I forgot to put a title. We did lose some friends along the way over the course of the series here. You remember that
Justice
the
for Barb
situation. Justice for Barb was a thing on Twitter, now X, but I'm still calling it Twitter. Like people actually lost their minds that this character died. And I'm like, is it not anything except testimony to the effectiveness of the writing that this is a supporting character who had maybe 15 lines of dialogue through 4 episodes, goes missing, turns up dead, and people are like, nah, dog, she needs a comeback arc. Yeah, they got to undo that somehow. Like 5 episodes, this chick's toast. You know what I mean? Like there's something to be said about that. And I remember Justice for Bob Newby as well. That's Sean Astin's character from season 2.
Hero Bob?
Hero Bob, superhero Bob. Bob Newby's a superhero. Like people were legitimately pissed when this character died. He wasn't coming back, dude. Like he was Puppy Chow, if you remember that scene correctly. But like people get hooked into these characters. Even season 4, like they killed Samwise. He did not go all the way to the fires of Mount Doom in that one.
No,
solid
he did go to Hawking's lab though. He made it.
He did. He went to Hawking's lab. Now, see, I would have unironically had him carry some kind of ring-like device. Like, see, we totally couldn't do it, even though we know he could. Chrissy from season 4. Did she even have any dialogue at the beginning before Vecna broke her in half? I don't even remember if she did. She bought drugs from Eddie in one scene, and that was that.
Oh, she went back to his house later to get something.
That's what I mean. Like, she had
she
the
died
briefest
in his
exchange.
house.
That's what I'm saying. But there was justice for Chrissy, and they basically built Eddie's entire character around this one's for you, Chrissy, his hero redemption moment. You know, because he's a character that people definitely aren't over not having a spoiler alert made it out of season 4. You know, like people.
Well, he had the perfect arc in.
It was
season
great.
4.
It was perfect.
Like he was the one, as he said, he didn't run this time.
Ah, yes. That was the dude, and that was that emotionally banger moment number 2 for the whole series. Was that as his voice is trembling as he's dying, while he's dying. I didn't run away this time. I didn't. Like, yeah. These guys know what they're doing. The Oracle lets us know that Chrissy had a scene in the bathroom with her mom, right? The concerned mom who knew her daughter was doing drugs. That's right. I remember that.
Because she couldn't sleep because she's being haunted by Vecna, which is
we'll
the big bad of over all the seasons.
We'll get to Vecna for sure. We're definitely going to get to that. I want to run back to season 1 and just talk about some of these. They split a lot of characters into like dyads. They build a couple of relationships here and there. We think the Joyce and Hopper thing is heading somewhere based on old history. You know, Mike and 11 obviously start an age appropriate kind of pairing. I mean, they're like 11, 12, or however old they are. So they would have been wild.
11's 11? What?
Or anything beyond that. 11's the meta, the numbers, Mason. What do the numbers mean? That's a Black Ops reference. You might not have got that. And you get a couple of other ones. It's like you were talking pre-show. I should have had on my newlywed graphic here, my dating game graphic. This is full of couples that they like to put together and then pull apart and then run through the emotional blender. There we go. Yay, hearts. You wanted one that had the triangle that had Nancy with Jonathan and Steve. And I'm like, well, he was only really her boyfriend for like 10 minutes in season 1 and not even
and
really.
Season 2.
Hey, Lauren's back. Lauren, what's up? And Lauren's great comment too. Best character development is Steve, hands down. I don't know if it's the best, but I can make an argument that it's my top 2 or 3.
Oh yeah, Steven's definitely the best. The way he came from like
favorite.
the big shot at high school to like he actually cares about people that's not himself.
And puts his body on the line to take care of these kids in like 10 different places, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it started off with him like her telling Nancy not to tell the cops everything because you know
we had
the parents can't find out about this. And it was all about him, CYA.
Barb died in your pool in an alternate dimension. And then the Oracle just said he actually wins a fight one time because Billy straight whooped his ass in season 2.
Jonathan whipped his ass in the first
season 1.
No, Jonathan did.
Jonathan whooped his ass in the alley, but then in response to that fight, he was arguing with his friend, and his friend choked him up against his BMW.
Yeah,
this who got his ass, and then at the end,
you couldn't take Jonathan Byers. You might want to walk away from this one.
And then he gets his ass kicked again, kind of when he goes to Jonathan's house in the last episode where they're fighting the Demogorgon. He's like, all right, I just want to talk. I'm like, you need to get the fuck out of here. He's like, I'm coming in. What the hell's going on? He had no idea, dude. No clue. Yeah. No clue what's going on. And I think Lauren's right. The character development is awesome for him as they evolved him from the prissy, look at my hair, L'Oreal model guy, kept the humor, and moved him into a fan favorite character. Hey, what's up, boss? I still think Hopper for me is down, and it's not development so much as it's a reveal, because we already know that he was a dad at one point. Like they tell us that, but then we show the lengths of which he goes to keep these kids, particularly 11, safe. Like how down he is to keep them up and walking. But I think he's still, I think that's still some of the best.
All of the couples, which are not really a couple, but relationships. Let's just say relationship. The best relationship, hands down, is Dustin and Steve, starting in season 2.
Oh, dude, they're the dynamic duo. I mean, they're Riggs and Murtaugh by season 4. They're Riggs and Murtaugh 100%, and they kind of transfer some of that to Dustin and Eddie, and I think they do it effectively. I might add.
See, Steve is like the older brother, where Eddie was kind of like that best friend that was like who's exactly like him.
Yep. That's who Dustin could have been, but without being like the academic dropout that. That Eddie was,
I think this is my year. 'Cause what was he had like a 6th-year senior or something like that?
6th or 7th year senior. Dude was 25 years old.
The only reason he gets invited to party because he'd buy beer.
Because he can buy. Yeah, I was waiting for them. They should have worked I think they did kind of work some of that in during the narcotics purchasing scenes. Like they might have hinted that he's bought alcohol before for kids. I don't remember. But we'll just roll it back a little bit.
We knew a couple people like that in high school.
Of course we did. Every high school has those guys.
That 7th-year senior who's 21.
This is my year. They're gonna let me walk. They're gonna let you walk out, not walk across.
It's like you could have dropped out like 3 years ago and got a job, but you're still here.
Listen, you should have joined the National Guard or something. You could have gone to like Job Corps. You had opportunities, dude. You had things you could have done. I don't know why you kept coming back to this homeroom. But they tell you a complete story in season 1, and I think that's to their credit. Like, they had a hit, because if you remember the stories, these guys shopped this show around to like 100 places, the Duffer Brothers. They got nowhere. They got laughed out of Dodge everywhere. Somebody at Netflix took a chance, and the minute they did, they had already greenlit multiple seasons of this show before they even filmed moment 1. Like somebody over there knew, and I think it's because if you've ever seen the story Bible for this online, you can download it. There's like I think it's like a 15-page PDF you can download. Like it was basically their pitch deck. They were like, "Listen, we've got these characters mapped out. This is the arc for season 1. It's got 3 acts. This is the buildup. This is the fun and games, like you're always talking about. This is the ending." And it could have think about it. This show could have ended with 11 vaporizing the Demogorgon in the classroom, and then boom. That's it. It was just a weirdo Steven Spielberg, Amblin Entertainment family adventure thing. The families are all good. Hopper has his faith back. Now he's a good cop again. Yada, yada. Will's home safe. Boom, we're good. But they knew. And like you said, at the time, Netflix, not the strongest provider of original content, if you will.
Especially at that time.
That's what I'm saying.
When it came out in 2016,
right.
They were not the greatest of original content.
Right. But this show did something. This show for that platform and streaming in general created the binge model that so many people are hooked on now. It's this show that did that, as far as I recall, as far as I remember. I wasn't binge watching. You couldn't binge watch Game of Thrones. It was out once a week.
The only one that was before this was Orange was the New Black.
Fair. But I don't know if that went binge drop a whole season, because wasn't Orange is the New Black was on that wasn't a Netflix show, was it?
I believe it was.
I never watched it.
I think that was like their first original. That was their very first original.
Well, then they're at least partially responsible for the binge model also, because that show did gangbusters and did 6 seasons, 5-6 seasons. That went on for a minute. But this show benefited from a likable cast of characters, qualified writers, the 2 brothers that had a unified vision of the story they wanted to tell, and studio suits smart enough to get the fuck out of the way and let these guys tell the story they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the big thing. Is letting the studio execs and the money get out of the way and let the storyteller tell the story. It's not really seen that way that much in Hollywood today, because, they're investing a lot of money into this. They want to see it through. They want it to be successful, and they want a return on their investment, which is, if you invest money, that's something you want.
Of course.
Sometimes you have to trust people because, entertainment. I don't. I'm going to give you the money. You give me a workable product.
Yep.
And that's, you kind of have to have that trust sometimes. And that's what they did here. And if you guys haven't seen their student film, it is on YouTube. It's called Eater by the Duffer Brothers. It's their graduation thesis film from film school, which I believe they're NYU graduates.
I believe they were. Yep. I believe so. And I was just going to point that out. It's not like these guys were inexperienced scrubs. They have plenty of TV credits to their name as well. Like you can look up their IMDb filmography. Like they were out there. They have a background. It's not like when these clowns handed the keys to the Star Wars universe to the idiots from Game of Thrones, Dan and Dave, who then did nothing, or when they handed it to Rian Johnson, who did like one good episode of Breaking Bad and a bunch of like nothing else to his name worth a damn. Excuse me.
Yeah, you go check out that short film. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I believe it's 27 minutes long, And it's about a rookie cop on his first day on the job. So things get weird. That's
Of course
the
they get
tagline.
weird. That's what the 80s did. Was it set in the 80s? Probably.
I don't believe so. I think it was
Just minor disappointment.
Yeah.
But I think that these guys were smart enough to know that if they wanted the long-term growth of this show, they needed to hit hard in season 1. They had to get everything right. I don't think there's anything like I've seen. I was just telling Mrs. Wolf earlier because she reminded me that my son had just watched season 1. I should bring him on because he's an expert on the show. I was like, we can bring him on, but I've seen season 1 like 15 times. I don't think I need backup on this one. You know, I'm thinking back to season 1. I can't find fault with it. I don't have any nits to pick with it. It's probably as close to a perfect season of a streaming series as there's ever been.
Other than the late forgetting of Barb, but they were in kind of peril for their life. But that's about the only thing you could really go off of.
They found the body and ran. What else do you do? You know?
I thought that was in season 2. They actually crossed the body, or did they show the body? In season 1?
Didn't. I thought Nancy found the body in the pool in season 1. Like she gets pulled into the tree by the Demogorgon in one of those second act.
She didn't pull in.
Episodes.
She went in.
She went in, and when she was there, she found the body.
I didn't think she found the body. I thought that was later.
I'm pretty sure it was, but even so, she wasn't forgotten. She was there. What else can Nancy do?
Yeah, with like a big thing in her mouth, like one of the root systems in her mouth.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need to remember that. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's no we're going to talk about season 2 for a few, right? And unlike season 2, there are no side quest episodes in season 1. That's why I say it's pretty much above reproach in terms of the story it tells over the 8 episodes that it gives you. Like they don't deviate to go check out Will and Jonathan's stepdad Lonnie for an hour out of his life to see what his deadbeat ass is up to. They introduce him. He plays a part in the story, but they don't just leave to go do things.
There is a side quest in season 1, and that's to go see
side quest?
To go see Jane's mom.
But is it a side quest, or is it Hopper enjoys gathering intel to inform things that they didn't know and that we as the viewers didn't know?
Technically, they did not have to leave Hawkins. Anytime you leave the primary area, it is considered a side quest.
All right, we'll file this on. Well, it's an investigation. Exactly. We'll file this under nit to pick internally on the show. Then I disagree that it's a side quest.
It's a purposeful side quest. There's difference: purposeful side quests and non-purposeful side quests.
Not filler. I'll say. Let me readjust my terminology. There's no filler in season.
There
1.
you go. There you go.
To the narrative, right? Unlike season 2. Season 2 comes back a year later. 11's alive. Rewatch time. Don't twist my arm, dude. I'm down. I won't watch the episode we're going to talk about right now, though, because I think season 2, for the most part, gives us enough new stuff and new people to keep things fresh, to keep things interesting, but to not bloat the overhead so much that you feel like you don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah,
you get Max and her abusive older brother Billy and their fucked up family, and that's like the cornerstone of new shit for seasons 2 and 3.
Well, you also get the Paul Reiser character for the first time as well.
And we get him as the replacement kind of de facto bad guy. What does she call him? Papa. Matthew Modine's character, 11, called Papa.
Yeah.
We get he's the good guy. I'm really an okay guy.
Yeah.
Reference. You wouldn't get the reference. You don't like the franchise. Got him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Reiser plays a good role as the new head of Hawkins Lab. He's intimidating, sinister. He basically threatens Jonathan and Nancy with the flamethrower at one point. Pretty solid. But they tell you more of that story, how the Upside Down works, that it's erupting near the lab. It's infecting the land, like it's contaminating like the pumpkin patches and rotting soil and doing things. We need to burn it out.
Yeah.
You know, so that the world's growing as it's dying.
Harper had the great line on that where he was like, follow it out as far as you go, mark it. And they're like, he's like, Chief, that's going to take some time. Then take it.
Yep. So, again, he's activating good cop mode. You know, he's getting there. So they run you through all that stuff. The kids are coming along. They all develop a crush on Max to one level or another because she's the new girl in school and she's a badass. She skateboards. She plays video games. Because this is in 11.
Where's Michael Myers' mask?
Exactly. Scares them on trick-or-treating and yada, yada. But she slowly but surely kind of, not infiltrates the group. That's the wrong word. She joins the group. she assimilates into the group.
Yeah.
To the chagrin of her older brother, Billy, who's Billy Badass on this show. And I don't know. Solid.
And
villainous
Michael.
character.
Michael fought against it for the longest time.
True. Yep, true.
It was
Because
Dustin and Lucas.
Right. He didn't want an 11 replacement. And the Oracle just said that, and maybe that's why you said it. True. But they use that tension to good purpose, because when 11 finally makes it, out of the woods and back to where she's going, what does she see? She sees Mike and Max in the gym on the skateboard. She uses the psychic wherewithal to dump her off the board.
Yeah, when she was saying, "I could be a Zoomer in the thing," and he started laughing.
Right. Oh, he's having fun with the new girl. Yeah, now I broke her neck. She got off easy. She could have broken that girl's neck. Let's be honest. She's already. Let's remind her. This 11-year-old girl has killed like 7 grown adults by the time this episode happens. Yeah, exactly. Easy fucking pee. It's like watching an episode of Supernatural. Same shit. Demons just snapping necks. That's 11 here. But they have that episode. Everybody talks about it in season 2 all the time. What was it? Episode 6, 7?
I think it was 7. It wasn't 8, because 8 is when they bring her back. Yeah, that was her number.
Yeah.
Because episode 8 is when they bring her back to actually close the gate, because the mind flare is taking Will over again, and like he's having hot and cold flashes.
No. What was the episode where she actually goes to Chicago or whatever, goes to New York or wherever the fuck she went to meet up with 8, the other girl? Oracle says 7. Okay.
Episode 7, yeah. Because episode 8 was the final episode.
Okay, so it was the penultimate where she re-meets Callie.
No, wasn't the final episode?
Didn't I just say penultimate? Didn't I just say that? It was the second to last episode where she meets Callie, who we only saw in episode 1 for 10 minutes after they did.
Where they were getting away from the cops, and they made him think the bridge was falling on top of them.
Yeah, 9 episodes total. Just stay consistent, guys. Just stay consistent. You're not doing me any favors here. Not you guys, them. These clowns at Netflix. But King. Why was this episode a filler episode? Or did you not think it was a filler episode? Did you think it was necessary for 11's development? Because I bet you're going to back this episode. I know you pretty good.
I think the episode itself totally was pretty pointless, but there was a point to it, to her character, where she was finally not going to be dependent on someone else. Season 1, she was dependent on Mike. Season 2, she was dependent on Hopper. This is where she finally started developing a little bit of herself. Like she really started feeling like herself. So like one person, like she's not being controlled or needs someone to help her hand. Yeah. Because I mean, she's been controlled by this Hawkins lab since she was 4? She was taken away when she was 4. Little. Yeah.
Like 4 or 5, maybe younger. I don't remember.
Yeah. They never said an age. They said taken away when she was younger, which broke her mom's mentally.
Oh, they assaulted mom and broke her physically. They strapped her into that fucking ECT chair and zapped her on.
The old school psychology. You're thinking a little psychotic. Let's give you a little electro shot.
That's
that'll make your brain work right.
Yeah, we're actually back to doing that now. Micro doses of voltage. It's pretty effective, actually. Not in the voltages they were using, but anyway, they
So your battery.
No, you actually it's not just as simple as the red is positive and the black is negative. Just hope for the best, just to fire it up. No, it's actually a little bit more sensitive than that. Then your take on the episode is necessary but bad.
I'm saying
execution
it was bad. It just didn't need to be it could have been a part of an episode instead of an entire episode dedicated to it. I would say, because it was necessary, but it could have been shorter.
I agree. I think that maybe that could have been half the episode, and then she could have been on her way back to Hawkins by the halfway point instead of maybe they really wanted the big heroic return, you know what I mean, to save them, like looking into looking like a car battery, probably.
A car battery. A lot more than 9-volt.
More bang for your buck. Maybe one of those.
When I was a kid, we used to do 9-volt thing for fun. So
what are the big square ones that used to go in the old flashlights? Those D batteries, the big square ones that like the size of a soda.
That's
can?
a 9-volt. Oh, you're talking about like that big one.
Yeah.
That on top of it.
Yes. The big dog. The big dog.
Yeah, the big ones for the big flashlights.
Yeah, I think it was a D.
No, it wasn't a D because D's are round. They're the big round
those are
ones.
the
Like if you
C
throw
ones.
at someone, you're giving them a concussion.
If I put a bunch in a sock and swing it a few times, you're going to jail.
Well,
yeah, you don't do that.
That's why I use a bar of soap. It doesn't leave marks.
Or an orange. Orange is a good.
Or an orange.
Or you could
Phone book.
alternatively, you could Sean Penn it and just put a bunch of cans of soda in there. But again, going to jail.
Going to jail.
That's how that's gonna happen. I think I agree with you. I think that episode gets a bad rap, but I see why people dislike it because I think people got stuck on 11 as that kind of archetypal character where she has a certain look in a certain way. And of course, when she gets there, she gets the big badass makeover. And I think that didn't work for people. Like when
she got a
back
New York
to Hawkins.
style.
Yeah. I think they brushed too close and maybe towed over the line for what people were down for at that point. Because then as we get into seasons 3 and 4, she's obviously normalizing as a teenager. Her speech isn't as pressured anymore. She's having appropriate emotional responses to things. She's hanging out with Max. She's dressing like a girl. You know what I mean? Like she's becoming a teenager.
Yeah, like 3, there was still a little bit more. Like she's still learning because she didn't have a normal childhood.
I'm saying, but she's on her way.
She's on her way.
So when she starts dressing not in the gray sweatsuit or the hospital Johnny, you're like, okay, this is what a 13-year-old girl would dress like in '88. You know. I think saw that. He saw what I did there. He's seen it. You know. Anyway.
So I think the episode in season 3 where she goes shopping with Matt's had more impact in that entire episode for a makeover.
The girls want to have fun episode, as I call it.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
While the guys are trying to figure out to get something nice, and he's like, it's really expensive, and I only have like $7.
I got like $7.13. Facts. But, so season 2 tells a expansion of the story. It ends with a pretty badass scene that I always cite as one of my top 5. I even had I was gonna have it drawn up at a Comic-Con. I didn't end up pulling the trigger on it because I keep hoping Plate will do the image, but the image of 11 on that elevator underground in the lab with the double force push on the gate to close it with Hopper standing next to her, just AR
taking out the demi-dogs.
Yes. Dude, that shit on a display poster would be incredible. But I don't think they rolled that out. Oh, that was so badass.
So there's another character we did not mention that was introduced in season 2, and that's Morty.
Say again? You froze up.
Morty.
Who's Morty?
He's the who believes she's Russian. She believes that 11's Russian.
Oh yeah.
The conspiracy theorist guy. Like he has important roles going throughout the rest of the seasons.
The rest of the series. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, he was there in the lawn chair at the end as the trucks are all leaving. He's like, bye.
Dude, he's funny. He's a funny cat. I just bumped into him on an episode of The Office. He played the magician. It was in a single episode when Nellie took over the responsibilities real quick. They called him in. He's a funny character. He plays the conspiracy not really well because he's super dry. Murray Bauman, thank you. Plays a super cynical conspiracy theorist, which is, hey, thank you, Isaac. Appreciate you, bud. Thank you much. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Almost forgot the huzzah. Not going to forget the huzzah. Warden's Rise. That's what we do. I like his entire setup in the Doomsday bunker. He basically, because he's smart. Nobody on this show has ever played. We haven't said this yet. Nobody on this show has played one-dimensionally, in my opinion. They set him up as the comic relief conspiracy theorist, but then when they bring him proof of what's going on, he's like, we can't release this fucking tape. Are you kidding me? No one's going to believe this shit. We got to water it down. We got to dilute it, put it out there in small bits. It's not a alien invasion from another dimension. It's a gas leak, but they're responsible.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to burn them down. He's smart, and he's smart for 3 seasons going forward. They the top with the whole Russia shit with him. You know, he's going with them and doing all kinds of gangster shit, but he's still a good character. Good. There we go. Pape doing the Warden Prime himself with the welcome duties. Pape, that is now your sole responsibility. Your prime responsibility, Warden Prime. Welcome new people. Thank you. Well, appreciate you, dude. But yeah, he's a great addition.
A whole day named after you. It's called Prime Day.
It is. It's a whole weekend, I think. They expanded that shit in August, didn't they? Isn't it Prime Weekend?
It's like a Prime Week now.
Nice. season 2 was good for adding characters, right?
Yes.
But I also think it's kind of the beginning of character bloat. Because you're right, we did get that character. We did get Max and Billy. We did get Bob Newby. They resolved that. He was one and done.
Yeah,
right?
he was one and done.
But my complaint with this show going forward is the focus seems to shift from that core group of the 4 boys plus 11 to give a lot more screen time to the add-ons. Max in particular in season 3 and 4 almost becomes a main character in her own right. They add to pair with Steve, they add Robin, like the ditzy chick from the ice cream shop.
Yeah.
And then Lucas's sister shows up in seasons 3 and 4 to a higher degree. And then we add the stoner pizza kids. We had Dustin's little girlfriend. I didn't need any of her family shit in season 4. It's just too much. I don't know if you wanted to talk on that, or
So
if you're
what
you're doing with that.
What they were trying to do is expand the universe, and when you expand the universe, you got to expand the people.
Need some
You
newbies.
had to have some named characters. They might not need as big of role that they were given, but there has to be people in their everyday lives. Like there's people that fall in and who happen to just fall into your fun and games. So they needed this. They needed that because if you just you got those 4, sooner or later it's going to be stalled out. You're going to write yourself into a corner, and you need someone else to do something. Like Susie in season 3, very needed. You didn't probably need all the family stuff, but they went to go see.
That wasn't
her.
until
so
and
the
that wasn't until
family had
season
to
4.
be there, and they
that
needed
wasn't
her
until season
ability.
4.
Yeah,
you're right. She showed up and absolutely killed season 3 for sure with the never-ending story bit with Dustin. That shit went viral for like a week and a half with like 200 billion hits on that clip. Everybody, I don't met a single person that didn't like that clip, that scene.
Robin is needed to put Steve at his age.
Okay.
Instead of the permanent babysitter. So they needed Robin to put Steve at his age, where he is an 18-year-old who's working at an ice cream shop who didn't go to college.
Yeah, and didn't want to join dad's business or whatever the alternative was. True. But then let me ask you this. Why not write Robin as the new love interest for him to help him get over Nancy instead of having her be a platonic ally on the show? Like, why not give him something more to do with her? Because I feel like
why does every female have to be a love interest?
They don't, but I feel like in this
that's
case,
why they did it.
Added more of a dynamic there because they split them anyway.
I don't think they needed them to be a love interest to make her compelling. Her and Nancy's growth in season 4 was outstanding, and you needed that. You don't need her to be a love interest again. And because there's that love triangle, there's also that love triangle because Steve is not over Nancy. He's not ready to move on. That's why he's still living in Hawkins.
True.
He's not ready to move on with his life. Because he's still hung up on Nancy. Robin is his anchor to have someone his own age he can talk to instead of Dustin being his best friend and the only person he gets to talk to because Dustin wasn't ready to have those conversations. Now he is, as he's in season 4. And that's why Robin got moved a little bit more closer to get close to Nancy. So you have to have that in there to have an expanded universe to make it believable.
Fair. I mean, that's the best defense of Robin as a character I think I've ever heard, because for me, I think I would have just been better off without the character altogether. Only through season 3, like you said, they advanced her case in season 4, pairing her with Nancy to kind of infiltrate the mental institution and go through that great scene where she finally just comes off the cuff and breaks shit down the way she did. I think she became a more interesting character at that point than Nancy had ever been. Because I don't think really Nancy really hasn't lived up to any kind of interesting things she's done.
Except when you give Nancy a gun.
Except when you put a gun in her hand. And then all of a sudden she can gun. That's the thing. so you best keep her strapped for the rest of the run. And I think you guys will be okay. Like put her on sentry duty or something. But I think you're right. Maybe Robin kind of took over responsibilities there. But I think for me, I've said this before, I don't want this show to come down to all of the new characters are the ones that fundamentally resolve problems. Like I think they gave Robin too much to do in defeating Vecna in the end of season 4. Like I think it should have been Steve's moment to pull the trigger and get him done instead of having him fall down like 3-4 times and making him the butt of the joke. I didn't really like that. But give him a moment, because he can't continually be the punching bag.
Oh, he beat the Russian guy up. Just Dustin, he was like, "Hey, you won one."
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. That's true. But I favor original characters always over the OGs, which is why I said I have this in my head for this season coming up. There's like a pecking order, right, of who needs to resolve the gated threats on the way to the big bad. Take all your new characters and have them be cannon fodder, get these guys to the inside. Then you have the core group of the 4 boys with Max and 11 handle the next obstacle, and a couple of them drop off for whatever reason, split and do different things. And then the last hurdle really needs to be Mike and 11 or Hopper and 11 resolving whatever big bad, and one of those 3 characters needs to go. And that's the thing. That's kind of like the last kind of like clip I want to, not clip, like topic of the show. Not everybody's making it out of this season, dude. There's no shot. Like there's just no, right? Like, is it really going to be that like happy?
We already had this as a poll question. Who do we believe is going to die?
Let's talk about this now. Let's rip
I believe it's going to be multiple people. I think Will's going to bite it because he's going to sacrifice himself as the new Vecna. Because as you saw, and now this is also breaking down the trailer, is Will's going to take on the role of Vecna and sacrifice himself to destroy Vecna. Because when you split yourself into 2, you're less power, because he's going to put Will on the physical side where he's on the upside down side. And he's going to filter his power through him. He's going to be like his avatar. Right. So he's going to sacrifice himself knowing this. He's willingly going to do this, but he's going to look like, that whole double agent type thing. He's going to look like he's on his side, but then he's going to have enough of himself left based on his seeing all of his friends there, and he's going to sacrifice himself, which will weaken Vecna why 11's in mind power games, and she finally has what she needs to beat Vecna completely and close the upside down.
So do you think she going to make it out? Is she one of the characters that survives, or is she going to set off some telekinetic bomb and just go for it?
I think she's going to be she won't be 11 anymore. She will be Jane. She'll be 100% Jane. No more superpowers, no more mental ability. She'll just be Jane.
I bet you, friendly bet, burgers, whatever. I bet you're right on that. But I also bet the closing image of this show is a flicker that she has the power still. Not that she knows it, but like the end of that X-Men movie where like the chess piece wobbles just a little bit to show you Magneto still got a little left in the tank kind of thing. I bet they close on an image like that if she survives. Personally, for me, I like the hero doesn't walk away at all moment. You sound like you like the hero walks away scathed, but still there. I want her to go out like the Dark Knight Rises should have ended. I think that she's already closed the gate once. We've seen that. I think she's done it twice now, kind of, right?
But there is no more gate now.
No, but this way, like whatever she does needs to be even bigger than that. So in order to get away with justifying whatever power creep is going to come for this season, because remember, at the end of season 3, she had lost her power. She got it back for season 4. She fought Vecna to a standstill and kind of lost. I mean, kind of, right? Like she didn't come away from that fight.
No.
Max got broken in half. People are beat. Hawkins is on fire, right? I think she literally needs to go like full on like Dark Phoenix rogue shit, like boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
because
just like, not rogue, Dark Phoenix Jean Grey. I meant.
And
just
because
like let it rip, and that's the only way.
At the end of season 4,
I think she has to destroy the upside down.
She's in the dark, and she goes into their minds, and she's fighting their minds while the party of 6
finding his physical body
was fighting his physical body, and that's what helped her finally overcome. So she needed that physical body to take damage for her to beat him in Max's mind.
It was some Harry Potter Horcrux shit, basically. This is how that was going down. They were destroying tethers or pieces or fragments or whatever. But you're 100% right. But I think I like your ending, but with the whole Will sacrifices himself thing. But I think the next level from that is that weakens him enough that she's able to destroy the upside down, period. I think she's destroying the whole thing.
No, the hero that's going to die and like really die other than will be Steve. And Steve's going to sacrifice himself to protect Nancy for Jonathan.
I know, but I see, I'm going to flip that one. I think it's Jonathan that's going to die because I think Steve is too obvious.
You can't have Will and Jonathan die.
I mean, you could. You
Oh,
can't.
just do that to Joyce.
I know, as if she deserved any of that, right? But I
Yeah.
mean, maybe it's we're talking
The
about
saddest thing is
90s, so maybe.
burying one of your kids and having to bury both of them.
And this isn't Mel Gibson's The Patriot, so we're not doing the multiple kid deaths. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I feel like that's just like that's too predictable a thing. That's like when I have this discussion with my stepdaughter, and I'm like, the surprise move to do would be to literally kill a main character, right? You can't kill 11. Not early on. That's not an episode 3 death, obvious. Right?
You can't have Mike because he's the heart.
This is what I'm saying. He's kind of like her counterpoint, right? That's the Force dyad. That's the only thing I'm quoting from TLJ in our review here, or our talk. Like, but if you kill Lucas or you kill Dustin, how does that change the group? If you kill Dustin, Steve goes on the warpath. That's just on now. You get a whole different Steve. You kill Lucas, maybe that brings Max back from the brink, even though she's broken. I don't know what she could do physically. I have no idea.
Because I think she's half and half as well. Like she's half in Vecna and half saved.
They've got something planned for you with that. I guarantee you that. That's why they didn't kill her.
And we go off the trailer again. We see that them escaping the hospital because I believe either Demodogs are coming for him or the doctors are experimenting on her, like other doctors from. Because remember, we saw the gate around there, and maybe they're thinking they could do harm, and so Lucas is like, got to get her out of there, even though she's completely in coma.
She had 4 broken limbs and in a coma. I don't know
Yeah.
where she's going, but all right, we'll see what happens. Maybe we get some force healing. Maybe that's the next thing she can do. Maybe they're going full on.
Well, they already did that where she brought her back to life.
Oh, she did bring her back to life at the end of 4, didn't she?
Yep.
Right.
So we got a little force healing already. I think you muted yourself.
I didn't even touch that, but I said power creep incoming level 5. I don't know how I did that. I didn't click shit. It's got a full on push button here. But yeah, that would be an interesting angle to take. I mean, did they kill Hopper? Has he outlived his usefulness? He's already dodged the bullet like 7 times. He fought a Demogorgon hand in one.
Not including the key itself in season 3.
Right, I'm saying, like, dude, like,
and he fought the Demogorgon. Dude, I would have never dropped that sword. That sword would have been mine forever.
Why would you drop the sword, dude?
You just beheaded a Demogorgon and you're gonna drop the sword afterwards? No, that's mine. That's going on the mantle.
Dude, you can't kill Hopper the copper, dude. Pape knows he didn't even watch the show.
That's right.
Dude, I'm thinking like this is a dude that was prepared to like 30 style bare knuckle box a Demogorgon and win. Right?
So whose death would surprise you the most? The person completely off the scale of dying, but that might die.
Okay. This is dark. Let me preface this for you right now. This is dark and cynical. They already kind of screwed up. And I think they might have revealed that in one of the episode titles. Too obvious. And you can't have a show without her.
Yeah.
Right? It wouldn't surprise me because I think she's going down in the finale. I think Mike's little sister's on the block. Because the title of that episode is the disappearance of Holly Wheeler. I don't think they go back. That's rough because she's like 7 or whatever she is now.
Yeah, because she was a baby in season 1.
Right. Like literally like a toddler, like literally
like toddler,
2 years old tops. Right. I don't think the show's dark enough for that, but they might just lay it all out there for season 5, dude. Jenny on the block. No, it's Holly on the block. She's still Holly on the block. Yeah. She used to be real little. Now she's not.
Yeah.
I can do the rest of the song later. I would say that would be the most you're talking about just surprising. That would surprise me, but it would be a punch in the nuts.
Mine would be Joyce.
Ooh, good one. And doable.
It is doable because she's already stated that she will do anything for her kids.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this then. Let's say that happens in episode 3. That's like the episode 3 send off into act 2 of all the episode arcs, right? How does that change Will? How does that change Jonathan? How does that change Hopper? Go.
It changed Will to push him into the course that he needs to go to become Vecna's
evil mode or hero mode?
When he becomes the Avatar, so he can betray him.
Okay.
It turns, I think it breaks Jonathan. Like Jonathan becomes more of a whiny baby because of it.
Can you do that? Has this guy
Yeah.
not been a whiny bitch at any point in this
He
show?
season 4, he was pretty a whiny bitch.
You know what I'm saying? Can he be any more of a whiny bitch?
Yes, he could definitely always be more.
Do you think that? And what about Hopper? And I got a question for you. What about Hopper?
I think he would latch onto 11 even more. Like 11 would be the only thing keeping his heart beating at that point.
True. All right.
Because he became the surrogate father.
Right.
So
right. True. But I think they've already done the overbearing dad thing with her once already, and
that was season 3.
Things. Yeah. I don't know how much of that they go. Maybe she understands more now in light of the circumstances, and she's okay with it. Maybe that pushes him to some landscape changing sacrifice at the end. But let me ask you this. Do you think the show, as it's aged up over these 5 seasons and has become darker in tone, and it definitely has, you can't kill it. Well, I mean, they're all movies this season, apparently, hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, is this Transformers the movie? We're gonna get some we're gonna get an Optimus Prime level moment here with Hopper. That should have break me in half. I'm still not over that shit. Is the show dark enough to have one of these characters self-delete? Would Jonathan self-delete if his mother died?
No, I don't think it's turned into that dark.
Okay.
It would be a Vecna, like he would become like one of the new pillars for Vecna. Just remember they destroyed his house where he had the 2 pillars of the other 3 kids, or the 3 pillars of the other 3 kids he killed.
True.
Before he went after Max. Well, actually one of them was after Max, but the other 2 before Max.
It'll be interesting then to see which way it goes. I think I trust fully in these guys' ability to tell the story, because as much as season 2 got dunked on, as much as the Soviet base underneath the mall in season 3 got dunked on, I still enjoyed both seasons. I don't think either of them were remotely as good as season 1. Season 4, mostly pretty good also. Characters are starting to grow up, become more mature. One of my favorite parts about season 4 was the tone and the vibe they took was very Nightmare on Elm Street, with some of the surrealism, the imagery, everything about Vecna is basically Freddy Krueger, but super sinister, no one-liners. Like that's an unnerving villain to taunt you.
That plot was the best part of Vecna.
Yep.
Like the taunting part of it, I would say.
The taunting part where you can hear like the warbling grandfather clock, and he's getting in your head and making you think all the worst shit about you. And his move to get you to stay is basically like, you can't leave, you belong here. Like, that's awful. Like, I need to tell that to a 14-year-old girl. Like, that's the shit. Like, that's the shittiest line you could say to somebody.
Since Pape hasn't watched it, why don't we go ahead and pull up that picture of Vecna that we were talking about?
Roll Vecna. And I think it's amazing. It's got Skeletor creeper design to it with like Venom shit from like Marvel.
There's a spider capability, because remember, and if you go to his backstory, like he loved the spiders because
Black Widows, right?
Yeah, they thought they were the apex predators.
Yep. He's a weird dude who happened to have psychic powers, who happened to get indoctrinated into evil Professor X's school at Hawkins Lab.
So
the creature design is on point, dude. And it's because it's prosthetics. It's like they put this dude in a suit. I didn't pull the behind the scenes image for the show here, but like they got the guy in the suit sitting in a chair smoking a butt with a bottle of water. Like
it's like it's 5 hours in the chair.
Right. Minimum, dude, for what they do. But it works because his mouth is real and his eyes are real. You know what I mean? You can see sclera and fucking a real mouth. It's not like a crappy Star Wars alien head mask. You know, you believe there's a person there. And I think the guy's kind of tall too. So when he's got Max up against the wall and that one's the running, like the scene preempting the running up the hill revival, like this dude's got this kid off the ground by like 1.5 feet. Like he's just a big dude. Yes. Like it is intimidating. They cast it perfectly.
Yeah, season 4 gave Kate Bush a second life in her career.
She made more money off that song charting on Spotify than she ever did on launch. 100%.
Yeah,
like the money was real.
Yeah. So one of the things that a lot of people also complain about Stranger Things is that how long it took. Like it's been 9 years since the start to now the finish, and now it has hit some unprecedented events like a global pandemic.
Historically unprecedented.
And then a writer's strike. And then an actor's strike.
And then
And then they didn't get the what was that? The exception that the two labor unions were giving to certain shows. It was one of the ones that was not granted a exception to continue.
And if I'm not mistaken, was there not also an IATSE strike in there too? Like the behind the camera union, like the guys who like the sound and lighting.
No, IATSE never went on strike. They've talked about it.
They
never actually.
They were okay, so they were close.
They were close. Yeah,
I didn't remember. Okay, but I mean, even then, that's just a looming threat over a production that makes some people probably move on and go do other things, and who knows? But like the running joke now is we should have pulled this picture. Is all these kids are now in real life like 35 years old.
Yeah, the then and now boys.
Yeah, roll it. Yeah, dude, just look at Will and Mike in particular, right? And Dustin to a degree there. Lucas is still a show. He grew up a little bit, but the three other kids, especially Will and Mike, like they literally look from 10 to like 25 in these pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like Finn Wolfhard over here has been in like 2 Ghostbusters movies in the time it took this show to come back for season 5. Two movies. And his character stayed the same age in those movies because they were only 6 months apart.
Yeah.
You know, this dude's going to be on his 2nd mortgage and his 4th divorce by the time this shit rolls around in a week. You ain't wrong. Roll me Millie Bobby Brown too, because she's obviously grown up as well. That's her over the years too.
Yeah. The 2025 one, she looks like she's a divorcee who's
right. You're gonna catch her in
just
Atlantic
got married,
City.
but she looks like she's a 40-year-old divorcee in that picture.
I mean, she was peak attractive. Like, what was that stupid princess movie we just watched? Oh, Damsel. Like, she was like peak attractive, and that looked great. But now she looks like she's depressed, like all the time. I'm like, I don't know. You married Bon Jovi's son. How bad can life be? You know, I don't know what's going on over there in Hollywood town. I'm not from around them parts. But it's like, yeah, dude, these kids are like grown-ups now. It's a damn good thing this show's ending because they're only in the 10th fucking grade by the time this season starts. Like, this is older than 90210 at this point. Like Luke Perry.
Yeah, Luke Perry. It's like, Luke Perry, you know what it's like to be a teenager. You played one for 20 years.
You know what I'm saying? Right? But even he wasn't as old as these kids would be now getting into homeroom at Hawkins High School in the 10th grade. Dude, not seniors. They're not outgoing. Like, they're literally sophomores.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, they're not teachers there. They're still sophomores.
Yeah. They're junior teachers. They're just waiting to take the exam.
Yeah.
But
a lot of people go to school for 9 years. They're called doctors.
I think she's 24. To be fair, I think she's like 24. The joke is that they're 30. But I mean, they started filming this shit when they were 10.
Yeah.
Like, they were on brand, on age.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
2016 is when the first season dropped. So they were filming it in 2015.
Right. Oh, but it's like King said, it's like unprecedented levels of shit just got in the way of this show.
Yeah.
And it's almost, excuse me, I have mixed feelings though, because I feel like if this show ran on time, really 21? That Pape says 21. She's born in 24. Born in 04. Get out of here. I thought it said she was 20. Does she marry Bon Jovi's kid at like 20? All right.
Yeah.
Good for him. I don't know, whatever. If this show had just run like clockwork, would we be having a different opinion about a series finale? Would we have had 3 shitty watered down seasons? Like, what are the odds that they kept up a decent story for 3 extra seasons?
If
like,
if they had the show Bible like you said they did, I think it would have been fine.
Like, the Bible had like the characters and the setting and the big plot ideas. I don't remember how in depth it went into a season by season breakdown. I don't think it had all that. But I mean, do you think the Duffer Brothers had 3 more stories that they could have pulled out of their ass after looking at what seasons 1, 2, and 3 might have looked like and been like, hey, let's take these kids here and do this thing at the lab. Let's take these kids here and have.
I don't think there would have been any difference. I think they already had their roadmap and they knew what they were going to do. It just been delayed due to global pandemic.
No matter what.
Yep. True. I think they even said that. I think they said that when they got renewed for season 2, that it got approved through season 5.
True. And I like the sound of that too. It makes sense to get in, tell the story. Breaking Bad did that famously. They're like, no, we're happy to go out on number 1. Like we had whatever 4 seasons, 5 seasons. We've told the Walter White story. We get you guys like it, but if we stick around now, we're literally doing blue meth in space, and nobody wants that.
Yeah, it's like some shows go too long past their best sell by date.
Yeah.
Like look at Criminal Minds. By the time you're done, there was only 3 people that was still from the original cast.
Right.
At that point, it's like you're on a whole new show. You can't just keep it going. And it became something that was overarching and actually had psychological like explanation and stuff to your monster of the week.
Yeah, I think a great comp in this genre is something like X-Files. Like X-Files should have dipped the exact minute David Duchovny said, I think I'm done here. I don't think I'm gonna do season 6 or whatever it was. Because they strung that along. They brought in the T-1000 and the Spanish chick for a little while, and they never hit on the same level. They think because obviously they lacked the chemistry that Duchovny and Anderson had. And I think what's his name that wrote the show there? Did Breaking Bad, can't remember his name. Vince Gilligan. Like he had long since moved on to other things. It was only like executive producers. So they ran out of the story ideas. They lost that through line. So I think you're right. If the Duffer Brothers had 5 years, 5 seasons, this was the shot they were going to take, whether these kids were 30 or whether they were 22.
I think the the next season would have come out in 2021, and then the final season 2023 or 2024.
Yeah, so we're basically like a year and a half behind. When all said and done, really true. Let me ask you one more question, and then we can just wrap up. Final thoughts, expectations. Do you think this show survives after live action in something like an animated format? Like, how would that play? Would you be down for that, where they could just lock these kids in time and do side stories that the live action didn't show us in season 1?
No,
something like that?
I don't think so. I think that would be pushing the envelope a little too far. And 2, it also depends on the animation style that they choose for it. Because the way they animate now, as soon as you say animation, I'm like already starting to like cringe a little because they don't know how to animate anymore.
Like something like Terminator 0, though, or K-pop Demon Hunters, like animes that I know you liked because we've watched these. You know what I mean? So not like the computer rubbery, shiny Toy Story.
So you want to pass over to like Japan or Korea type animation, nothing US based animation. Because US based animation is garbage.
I don't know. I don't want CalArt. I don't want Steven Universe animation. I definitely don't want that. I think it's something that looks realistic, like something like on Netflix, like Cyberpunk Edge Runner, something like that. You know what I mean? And even if it wasn't this group of kids, they could just tell us stories from Hawkins Lab. That just or other sites of Hawkins Lab, Site B,
or some of the other, the other kids, or 2 through 10.
Yes, like literally anything. Because I think there's more for this universe to do, especially because if you think that like, we good?
No, I just thought of a huge plot hole they made.
Hold that thought. If there's the upside down, they're already telling us there's more than one universe, more than one reality, multiverse thing going on. Show me other shit. Show me alternate versions of things that don't do the Marvel played for jokes thing. So I think an animated version could work in lieu of live action. I'd be interested to see where it goes. What plot hole did you just stumble across as we stumble across the hour and 12-minute mark?
How did 8 survive the Rainbow Room?
The massacre? Yeah. Good question, because it looked like Vecna did what Vecna did, didn't it?
Yeah. And that was like all of them. And it didn't look like they brought any else because it was just 11 after that.
Merchandising. Exactly. Oh, she wasn't. Wait, the Oracle said she wasn't there at that time, but she's the same age as 11, though. So wouldn't they have all been there at the same time? Or she just got.
Or she part of the new batch. She's part of the new batch.
Well, 11 was part of the last batch. There was no batch after that because they were all dead. So, so 8 would have had to have been there and run away by that point. Okay, well there you go. That's the answer to your plot hole. She survived because she wasn't there. She dodged Order 66 in this universe. Sweet.
The Vecna power grab.
Nice. Sweet. All right. I think maybe she's not. We know who Vecna is. He gonna die.
Yep, he's number 1.
Student number 1. Yeah. We actually saw him as a kid.
Yeah.
Expectations for episode 1, season 5. How big is the bang for episode 1 coming off such a long gap?
I think it's going to stay with how they've done all the other seasons. It's going to take you in, and then by the halfway point, it's going to, it's that click, 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 click of the roller coaster. So, and before you hit that, you look over, that's the end of season 1. Season 2 is when you hear the and then you're released.
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll figure out the streaming set. Pape has no expectation. Pape expects we'll cover this in some fashion, like I'm just about to explain, because they are an hour and 15 a piece. They do all drop in a time frame where maybe we could watch these all on Thanksgiving, and maybe
After the Lions game, of course.
After the Lions game, we have to figure out. Maybe we do like a triple coverage. This gonna be a long show, maybe like a 2-hour Stranger Things show.
Do you have to work the day after Thanksgiving?
Probably.
Oh.
But I can still go the night though. 4 episodes on Thanksgiving, 3 episodes on Christmas, 1 on New Year's, 1 in New York. New Year's.
Never
mind. Yeah, that's what I thought.
New York Eve. Gotcha.
New York Eve. I'm not doing New York Eve. 4 on Thanksgiving would be tough. I need to do 2 that night, 2 the next night, and then
only 6 hours of programming.
Dude, yeah, that's a lot. And then maybe impromptu or planned live stream on that's Saturday. I don't know. We'll figure that out. We're definitely going to watch it in as close to real time as we can, because I think people are going to jump back on this show because it's up against what? What's the competition?
There is really none.
Pape says he'll be in the Keys. Xmas, dude. Good for you, dude. Good for you. The good thing about that is the internet is everywhere. So tune in Wednesday nights at 9 Eastern. There you go.
The Mai Tais for Christmas.
Have fun, dude. I'm glad to hear you're going to be stepping out somewhere warm. Definitely, you're up here in the other cold, the frozen north. We're getting frozen, dude. That's coming. Winter's coming. Winter's definitely coming.
The snow's coming.
Yeah, facts, big facts, dude. All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up for us. We still got to talk Robin Hood and
we do. We got 2 shows that we're going to cover right now, so you can get a preview of what us covering Stranger Things is going to be like.
For sure. I do. Let's shift gears. Let me just hold up. I'm just gonna.
Which one we going to first?
Yeah, put it out of my head. Let's do It Welcome to Derry.
All right.
Let's go Scary Clown Show. All right, but boot us over to the side so people can see your hard work. Like move us over. Boop boop. There we go. Good day. You worked hard on that. That's a solid background, dude. I want to give you the opportunity to let your hard work shine. Look, it's all spaced appropriately. I mean, the Winter Wolf looks a little dark, but it says winter. That's the important part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. It's you never know with me.
Yeah, but yeah, it's hit or miss, but it works. Episode 4. I feel like this show is back on track for me. Season 3 was episode 3 was a bit of a bump last week. If you remember, I kind of dunked on it for some of the weird special effects, like a lack of tension. And it felt very teenage for a show that had already run itself adult in terms of like the scares, the gore, and things like that. This episode for sure feels close to episodes 1 and 2 for me. So I was pleased to see that we went back to a more personal horror, especially the bits with Mike and his father on the river. That was a great scene. And then of course with what I call Mike. I'm still that's
Mike is Will's son.
Yep.
In the future.
Dad and son on the river. All right. That was a great scene because it was personal. He saw his father burnt up and being like, "You're gonna burn too," yada yada. That was gripping, right? And then poor Lily, this girl's been through the effing ringer for this entire show. She gonna be in a jail cell next to this other dude real quick.
Yep.
Lauren, hey, you still here? Thank you. Unlike the ghost, he got evidence on his arms, dude. That's what I'm saying. But like, it's terrifying just to see that in the brief glimpse that we got. And then they subtly introduced the red balloon, and I'm like, here we go. Like, all right, finally, seeing some shit.
So the brief of this story, of this episode, is the kids are starting to understand what they're up against, but not exactly what they're up against. Okay. And they're also the secret of what's keeping Mr. Pennywise in that area is revealed. And there's a little twist in that, which I want to reveal that a lot of people didn't pick up on.
Oh, that should be fun. I think you're right. This is a good informational episode. They do some extended flashbacky stuff.
Yep.
They do it in a semi-interesting way. Mm-hmm. Like it's hey, I need you to repeat this story for me so I know you got it. And then like the little boy tells his aunt the story. Pape says bruise on his arm is what they should have had from the ghouls in the cemetery. Right. But that's exactly like what Lauren was just saying. Like, at what point is is that consistency not maintained that people begin to point that out and be annoyed by it. I was annoyed by that already. Like, we saw them grab at these kids. If it's the same monster doing it, the effect should have been the same, like you said. This dude falling off his bike and taking a picture of a clown in a graveyard at night also should have been a bit more trip-worthy alarm to the police than it was, in my opinion. But you guys are right. These kids have physical evidence that weird shit happened.
Yeah.
You know? And the guy that saw the weird shit happen to his kid, or who was there for the after effects, is like a decorated military hero. That's the guy you listen to.
The first adult to actually believe them in the show.
I think this episode's definitely a bit of a sea change. It's like a change of the tide, turn of the tide. Because
as it should, as it's episode 4.
It's episode 4. There's no way he doesn't back his kid. There's no way we get that stereotypical scene now where they're like, all right, go to your room and stop saying such foolishness, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, he's going to protect his kid. He's that kind of dad. That's going to happen now, you know? But they also did some cool stuff with his mom in this episode, right? We get a lot more character development from her, where she's going to come to the aid of the guy that they've got in the jail cell for the murder of the kids, because she's a bit of an activist. She's a freedom rider from down south. She's up north now looking for how to further the cause. And I like her character in this. Now he's got mom and dad now. Exactly, Lauren. Exactly. Which is not the norm for these kind of things. Usually the adults don't believe until the bitter end, and one of them's got to die themselves.
He was telling the truth the whole time.
Exactly. But his mom wants to be involved legally with what's the guy's name they locked up? I'm terrible with names.
It's Ronnie's dad. I don't remember his name. It's Ronnie's dad.
And she puts the police on note. She's like, listen, I make a phone call. I get a JFK, a MLK, a RFK, and all kinds of Ks down here that you don't want nothing to do with. But I like her character because I feel like in other shows,
need to make a phone call.
They would have written her to be so over the top, obnoxious, animated, stereotypical, hood, ghetto, all kinds. How they wrote her was perfect. She's restrained, classy,
educated,
purposeful, educated. Like, yes, this is how you do this scene without bashing me over the head. You know, this is how. You know what I mean? That's how it's done. What did you think of her development here? Hank Grogan. Thank you, Hank. I knew it was a cool name. Hank's a cool name.
Yeah.
Thank you, Oracle. What did you think of all her bits inserting into the social side of this case? Because now she's getting closer to another mystery that she unfolds, and I want to talk about that too, real quick.
You did see that she was itching at the bits. Like, she feels uncomfortable already because of how nice everybody is. You could tell that she's not used to this. Coming from the South, it was a little unsettling for some people to see white people and African Americans side by side and stuff. But there was still racist white people in the North. They just,
of course,
they hit it a little bit better, I would say. And that's what she was waiting for. She kept waiting for that. And then that's when she started, she toned on this because it was like, so there was a hint that he could have done it, but you have him locked up because he's a colored man. Right.
Now, my only concern with this because this looks like a deviation from the main story so far, is they have to be able to tie this back into what the kids are going through, or the story with the Native Americans, or like what if it's just a side jaunt to do the MLK thing, it's gonna just drag the story to a halt. So I want to see where this goes, because they reveal that he was out, not where he said he was, so the alibi fell through. Not only was he not where he says he was, but he was with a white woman, a married white woman. I'm guessing it was the chief of police's wife.
Yeah, I guessed that right off the bat. As soon as he was like, so they saw you out walking. Where are you coming from? I'm like, oh, he was with a white woman.
Yeah,
that's why he didn't say anything, because one, it would get her killed.
Wife,
no, I did not say the chief's wives. I just said a white woman. I didn't guess the married part either.
It's Bowers, so we know. Time. It would make sense, because think about that Bowers family line as it comes down. Like, obviously that dude's son grows up to be a massive piece of shit, and it would stand to reason all that hatefulness comes from somewhere. That's what I'm saying, dude. Pape, I think that's where they're going with this. I think that's where they're going. But and even if they do, it still has to somehow tie back to the main story thrust. It can't just be that she's an activist doing activist shit, because so far everything else is wrapping into the kids' story. Everything with the military, everything with the Native Americans, and what the kids going through themselves all wraps back to the monster in the West Woods that Kingsley's about to tell us about, that's now been cordoned off by the Native American tribes, who, in a bit of Hulu prey levels of idiocy with the all-female war party nonsense, broke part of the meteor that had contained the monster and set it up like a protective barrier. King, what did you notice about that I did not? Oh, hold on one second here. Josh Wise says season 2 was so forgettable until I rewatched the show. I completely forgot that Max was introduced in that season. Good, yeah, not a strong season overall, Josh, and welcome. Thanks for being here late. Continue, King. What did you notice about the protective ring?
So it wasn't the protective ring. It was more of the whole story itself. So what they did is they taught these 2 Native American boys watching the military and trying to figure out what they're doing. And they pretty much know what they're doing.
Of course.
That
they know what's out there. Right.
Yeah, they're looking for it. I would just call it.
What?
It.
What?
Yep, exactly. What?
Too easy.
What?
Anyway.
So they call on their good friend Airman Halloran to get into one of these kids' heads to figure out. Yep. Dude,
can we talk about Halloran's weird, creepy facial expressions that he uses not only during the face touching scene, but when he actually gets in the kid's mind and in the memory, that weird Pennywise grin that he laid on, where he's like,
that's the part. That part
Woo!
Right there.
Yep.
That was actually Pennywise asking for it so he can be released, so he can leave Derry, because we already proved earlier in episode 3 that Pennywise can talk to him when he's in the Shining. So that was actually Pennywise taking over his projection.
That grin was creep.
Yep.
Yeah. Good call, dude. I didn't put those 2 pieces together, but it makes perfect that the expression was an obvious piece of strong visual that something was weird. Because so far Halloran's just been a dude. He's just been a guy with the shiny. He's just got some talents, but he's a normal guy. He gets afraid. He understands his place in all this. When Hanlon goes to visit him and he's like, dude, that shit's above my pay grade. Dude, just fucking don't ask me any questions. We're just out here hanging out. You want to come in and help? And dude grabs his arm. And for a change, when Halloran stares at him, Hanlon backs off.
Yeah.
Because it was the other way around in that first exchange where Mike's obviously Hanlon the airman, right? He's the badass. He's the military guy, the man without fear. He's Daredevil.
Yep.
Not in that scene. When Halloran looked at him holding his arm, dude let him go real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But again, it's because he's understanding there's some weird shit out there in the world now, which is going to be cool. Oh, dude, big toothy grin. Huge, dude. It was huge. Oh, dude, 100%. 100%, man. 100%.
Yeah.
Great bit of imagery there.
That was my my little Easter egg I saw there, because he didn't even sound like himself talking.
Nope.
And if they're
trying too happy.
Yeah,
it's too weird.
Yeah, and if they're trying to locate him to turn him into a weapon, they don't need to know where the pillars are.
Right.
Because they know that the pillars are all outside of Derry.
Right. Around that particular.
Yeah, because the East Forest is
East Forest, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is the township of Derry now. So if I'm there looking for something, I don't need to know what's holding it in. I don't need to know where the cage is. I'm looking for the dog. I'm looking for the dog in the fight. And so that part is what really got me thinking, is like, why is he worrying about the pillars of smoke? Because that would have nothing to do with actually locating it itself.
True. What?
Exactly.
I'm done with that one. That one's not as much fun as you're not a fan of the franchise. Again, a solid addition to the story via the adult military segment. You know, it hasn't all been, we're just going to go up in the helicopter and search around with Halloran. That'd have been really boring if it was just a continual search of things. These characters are given an opportunity to interact, develop. I feel like at some point, one of Halloran's guys is going to be used against them in the same way that we just saw Marge used against Lily in the grotesque scene of this episode. And again, this episode coming after 3 again makes me dislike 3 even more in retrospect, because the effects of that girl's eyes, which everybody's using in their thumbnails as they show, because it's that disgusting, that horrific, that level of body horror is fucking perfect for exactly this. I feel like sooner or later Pennywise is going to get a hold of one of his crew, one of Halloran's crew, to do something out there at that little clubhouse on that level. We're going to get, now they know the shit. Now they all know the shit's going on. Now it's for real. We're not just getting our chains pulled. It's not just we're looking for something. We don't know what it is, because we already know the general knows, because he said to his second in command, well, the cycle's almost over if we don't find this shit now.
Yeah, he knows like that it only feeds for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then it goes into hibernation for 27 years.
27 years, right? So the military already knows more than they're obviously letting trickle down to even the guys that are involved in the op. We get that.
That's right. You treat people like mushrooms.
I'm saying,
keep them in the dark and feed them shit.
Exactly. So far, all the show is congealing well. Yeah. The wrap up scene, like I said, the concern is that everything with the airman's wife goes nowhere. That was Halloran's grandmother. Because in the previous episode, when he was going into the when he was doing his search thing, he saw grandma in the deadlights. He said grandma, and the ghost kind of talked back to him, but he said grandma. He did not say it in this episode, so that's an easy miss if you didn't hear that in episode 3. So yeah, I hope they work the airman's wife angle in defending the guy arrested in better. Lily is up against it now, because this last scene isn't just body horror, dude. This is like, this chick's getting locked up. Tell me about this last scene. Walk me through the whole bit if you don't mind.
So the whole thing was set up earlier where she asked, like, I miss you. Let's have lunch together. Now we're talking about Big Marge here. We're talking about Big Marge, who I believe that Big Marge becomes Angry Marge in The Office, or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And she becomes like a janitor. So
yeah. Okay. She'd be a one-eyed janitor going forward, though.
But
anyway,
they're at lunch and they're having some conversation, and like you see that Marge is looking around at her Patty Cake friends, and they're like laughing. There's always the mean girls. They're at every school. We even had them. So.
They're all fat now. Facts.
Anyway. So they had this guy come over and like give her a look, and like so they were setting her up to go talk to this guy, and then he was going to embarrass her in front of.
They're going to give her the Carrie treatment.
Yeah,
for sure.
But they go to the bathroom so she could freshen up, and then it looks like Marge is about to come clean on it because of, she was Lily's friend, like her only friend there for a while, and now like she's trying to get in with the in crowd, but she started having second thoughts. We'll say that. But all of a sudden her eyes start to hurt, and then she gets beer goggles. Like literally her eyes come popping out of her head like a Wile E. Coyote.
Like a snail from the foreshadowed video from the classroom. Because remember, they foreshadowed that in the science class when they were watching the video on how that happens.
Yeah.
The snails. So they kind of set you up. But anyway.
But then when she's walking, she has walleye vision. She's just like, her eyes hurt, and she's just trying to get rid of them. So of course she goes to the shop class. And it gets grotesque with a bandsaw and a little bit of a chisel, and then she looks
first.
Yep, starts to make it bleed, and then she goes to the bandsaw, and it looked like she was going to slip and go through the bandsaw.
Yes,
but
that's what I thought was going to happen.
But that did not happen. She cuts off her extended eyes, and blood just gushing down. Then it looks like she's going back with the chisel. Lily gets on top of her, holds her down, and takes the chisel away from her so she wouldn't. And then everybody comes in, and she's like perched over her with the chisel, like she did that to her.
Yep. Now, clearly, this does not look good for Lily, right?
No, especially someone who's been to the mental institution twice. Once as recently as 2 days ago. Yep.
All right. You get that? Spent the weekend there 2 days ago. My heart goes out to this poor girl, right? Because this chick with the bug eyes ran down like 3 hallways out of a bathroom, screaming at the top of her lungs, and there's not a grown-up to be seen anywhere. No grown-up. Right? Nowhere. I don't even think there were grown-ups when these 30 school kids rolled up into the shop room to watch the massacre happen, or the aftermath.
No.
I'm like, all right, that seems kind of weird.
So just kids.
So Lily's boned. My question here, right, is have we seen Pennywise physically impact somebody that he didn't feed on? Like, has he used anybody as a weapon, like a cat's paw at this point? Like, has he used anybody as an option to torture this other girl? Because remember, the whole point of that, the setup to that scene previous, was she stole sedatives from her mother because the kids figured out maybe this thing's trying to make us afraid. So if we're not afraid, it can't hurt us. It can't make us tastier, right? But then this dipshit drops her Ativan or whatever it was in the toy. It's probably for 1960. I can't think of what
it was. A Quaalude.
Is that what it was?
It was probably a Quaalude, right? Based on the time frame and what she said it does. It's probably a Quaalude.
Makes all my troubles go. Yeah, probably. But she drops it in the toilet. To her credit, kinda, she's gonna go in after it, I guess, because she pulls the sleeve up like she's gonna go.
She did go in and she pulls something out too.
Did she pull it out?
Yeah,
I might have already take it. It could have been Valium too. Papes point out. That's a good point. I was trying to think of an old Benzo.
Was Prince Valium available in the 1960s?
He was tired. Anyway, merchandising. But yeah, I couldn't remember if Pennywise had done that because he impacted Marge to make this whole thing happen. But I don't remember that happening to Lily. Usually it's been I use weird imagery from your dreams. I figured maybe he made Lily hallucinate that, but then literally 40 people saw that girl on the floor covered in blood with no eyes. Like, that shit happened. That's not in her head. That shit happened.
Once again, this isn't the real Big Marge. This is the construct of Pennywise. Because you saw her give her the side eye when she was up there with that, and after all the people, and she gave that little side eye like she knew what was going on.
Was that side eye, or was that I have no eyes and I'm just down? I have to go back.
You could see her eyes again when she's on top of her. You just see her normal eyes again.
All right, I'll have to go back to instant replay on that.
I'm telling you, it's going to be revealed.
You called Marge. You did. You called Construct because we even said we did the Stranger Things connection. Like, is real Marge dead and stuffed in a locker somewhere already?
Yep.
I don't know.
Already floating.
Already floating. Dude, they all float down here. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes with that. But Lily's going to start episode 5 at Juniper Hills, whatever the fuck it's called. She's done.
No, she's going to be in the jail cell next to Hank.
Oh no. I think we're blowing right past that.
Going straight to Shawshank.
She goes straight to Shawshank, dude. Women's wing, 100%. But dude, I'm glad this episode, for me anyway, this episode totally worked. It's back on episode 1 and 2 track. It's a grown-up show. It didn't play like the Goonies. It didn't play like E.T. The kids all got interesting shit to do. They're figuring stuff out. The grown-ups are figuring stuff out. The story expanded with some of the Native American flashback in kind of a woke adjacent way where literally everybody doing anything important there was a woman, which is just weird. Like, it seems they went out of their way to write it that way, that like it was the priestess's daughter who took all of her friends who are all girls on the war party to hunt the clown. I'm like, no, I'm sorry you're going out of your way to do that shit. I don't like that, but that doesn't hold anything up in this show because it's a terror horror based show. And when they get to that stuff, it's been great. And it was great in this episode. So this is a solid episode.
When they do it, they don't do it at the cost of a man either.
Right.
Like, it wasn't the stupid guys or the stupid chief or anything like that.
It's adjacent to just because the fact that it's an all-female hunting party thing. So I can't get past the impulse to at least have that on my radar as like something to watch for going forward. And I hate feeling like that. And the show hadn't done that yet. You know what I mean? So it's just on a front burner now. But it didn't in any way, shape, or form. Like I'm already saying, it was better than episode 3, even though it had that in it. You know what I mean? Can't hate it. What did you think overall? Give me the overall so we can get out here and do the next show.
No, I think it was a good episode overall. I think it's going to, it's that point in the story where you needed something to really happen to push it forward, because we're down to the final 4 episodes of this season. Everything is going to get wrapped up in this season. So I do believe there will be, we already know the next season is 27 years before this. So yeah, everything's going to get wrapped up in this season, but they're not going to get Pennywise because we know he's around 27 years later.
True. Which is fine for me. The show wasn't ever meant to have a happy ending.
No.
How it's going to go.
Because we all float down here.
Yeah, they definitely do. They definitely do. I'm happy to. I want to see where this goes next week. Again, this is. I'm excited every Thursday for this show to come out.
So I think this one up.
Yeah, dude, we're
So
all
let's
good here, dude.
let's move to the hood.
Okay, clearing the mind for the final show.
Dun dun dun.
Robin Hood, season 1, episode 4. The cause of all the unrest.
Hood.
Bro, it's Robin in the Hood. Robin in the Hood. Robin
No,
in the
it's
Hood. Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
So that's what he says. The bishop says at the end. 'Cause the bishop figures out we're just gonna make that his name.
Yeah, Robin Hood.
Make it sound all evil like and shit.
This is Robin in the Hood became Robin Hood.
Dude, here's a show that's interesting to watch up against it. Welcome to Derry, because it couldn't be more different. It's a total drama piece, told well.
Drama in the Hood.
Drama in the Hood, not that hood though. He's just wearing a hood. But I'm trying to let me refocus that. This is fun to watch up against it.
Oh,
because it's a slower paced, no less entertaining show that has enough going on in enough different places that you never get bored watching it, even though nothing's exploding every 5 seconds. There's not a bow and arrow shootout every 10 seconds on this show. You've got like 8-9 named characters that all have a want, and we talk about that all the time in like writing stuff. Like, even if it's just a glass of water, your characters need to want something. There's not a single character that if I threw their name at you right now, you couldn't tell me explicitly what their goal in the show was. Because
yeah, we even learn more of what the Queen's want is.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So again, like we were just talking about a minute ago with Welcome to Derry. In Robin Hood, this world continues to unfold. It continues to grow. We see the Queen has an agenda. She's making allegiances. She's reaching out. She's grooming new spies, new assets in Marion. We see Robin. His group continues to expand. He added 2 more members. He got 2 more followers this week. Like and subscribe for more Robin Hood.
Right.
He got 2 more to his. He got 2 more.
He got 2 more, and then one took a step back.
Well, he got 3 more, and then one took a step back. He got Friar Tuck, Spraggart, and Mary, and then something bad happened. There was something about her.
There was something about Mary there.
There we are. All right, you got it. There we go. He got it. It's late, but he got it. But the drama continues to unfold in a way that they take it seriously, but they don't whack you over the head with anything. It's interesting to see them do their best to get gender roles right, and I appreciate that about this show. Pape says yes, what the Queen wants, Bond, Maid, married. Exactly. Can't. They get it all right, like we were talking about in episode 1. The Queen in this show is never going to pick up a sword and battle 3 of her soldiers to a standstill and defeat them, right?
No.
Marion's never going to pick up a dagger off a table and fling it and,
she might do it in self-defense.
But she might pick one up and get a cheap shot in that works, but she's not going to outclass any of these armed soldiers like the asshole in Rings of Power did, like fake Galadriel. That's never going to happen on this show. They're smart. They're cunning. They use seduction when appropriate. And they understand that's how they acquire and wield power. They're not wrong. That's real world shit. That's how that goes. So every time, like I feel like if there was any other show, it wouldn't be that. It would be Rings of Power. That's why this feels like such an exception to me, that we see women behaving as women in power would, with the tools that they're given. And even though we're in bondage, we're restrained, we're still powerful, and I'm going to show you how to be powerful. That's what you said to her.
Yeah,
she really did. What do you think of that? What do you think of that part of the show so far?
No, I think it's perfect. Like, people are smart. They play the role they're supposed to play. They're not overstepping their bounds. The one that's really getting me, other than the women, is the sheriff in this one. Like, you're seeing a whole new different side of the sheriff. He isn't that mustache twirling bad guy that we always see in the Robin Hood tales. Like, you're seeing a completely different version of the sheriff. Like, it's smart, it's tactical, and yet he's trying to do it all for the king. He's not doing it for himself. He's not doing it for power, except for he enjoys the spoils of the position he's put into.
Exactly right. This is 180 degrees opposite the Alan Rickman, Sheriff of Nottingham from Prince of Thieves, and we knew it was going to be. Obviously, this is a show that's taking itself seriously. It did in the trailer. We knew it wasn't going to be mustache twirling villain, BBC America nonsense. What I like about the sheriff's character is he's almost becoming the reluctant antagonist that isn't the villain.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish fucking Huntington never did this, and fuck Loxley shouldn't have done that, and now I got to clean this shit up. But I like that he flexes on the bishop. He's like, oh, no. I'm paying half, you're paying half, or this shit ain't happening. This is also your problem. The king expects both to keep the peace. This isn't just a me deal. This is a you deal, homie. Yeah. You know what I mean? But again, Sean Bean just dominates this role because he can get fiery and intense when he has to. Like when he told,
especially when he's with his daughter.
Exactly.
Penelope.
It's like Priscilla.
No, that's right.
Priscilla. Penelope. What the fuck is wrong with you? He did put that on her there, and I like that her little bodyguard straight up pulled a knife on him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I didn't mean that shit. I didn't mean that. My bad. It was a reflex. Like
reflex.
On that dude. But I like him in that role because he's pulling off that tired, dutiful he's Ned Stark. That's basically who he is. It's the same dude. He's just on the other side of the good guy, bad guy thing from the audience perspective at this point. He's all duty and family. He's
a little bit different than I would say Ned Stark. Like because Ned Stark never talked about embellishing in the role that they're given, as he was the governor of Westeros up there. He's not. It wasn't
reluctant.
It was reluctant, even though he was the one like when you have to do justice, be the one to swing the sword.
Right. True. And that's what made him instantly a compelling, likable.
Yeah.
He's
trying to do everything for the king,
right?
But he does enjoy his lavish lifestyle.
True. It's much more morally ambiguous, with the paper saying in the chat over there for sure. Yeah, he's definitely benefiting from the position he's in, but I think he realizes that he stepped into a pile of it by giving in to he even says that Huntington's greed be damned.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he understands like that this is a dude that got outside of his lane and is going to drag the rest of us into it, you know. But it's interesting to see Robin in particular. Thankfully, right? I think we're now well outside and beyond the grieving son crybaby got punched in the face thing. Like in this episode, like it wraps up like episode 1 of like Green Arrow. You know what I mean? Like
you have failed this forest.
You have failed this forest, right? Like he's in the hood. He's got the bow. He's telling the bishop to run.
Dude, he killed all 6 of those guards.
Listen, let me tell you something. The next time they're up against some shit and they're expecting 2 and they get 6, if he's nervous, I'm like, dude, now hold on a second. All right. You unsolicited shot 6 of these dudes without missing a beat and without taking a scratch. All right. I'm thinking you could get probably 8 of them. And that's with Little John. You had backup. You had qualified backup down there.
Yeah, Little John, he didn't hold it. The other ones are his weak links. Everybody else.
Yeah, Drew's all right. But yeah, the other 2, Ralph probably not that great to fist fight given her size. And Henry, if he lives, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rob, at this point, he's Robin Hood, dude. He's firing shots. You know, he shouldn't be nervous at this point. But he's become a superhero at this point now. Like because of that, and like he's put the hood up, he's done the shooting thing, he's issuing edicts, being like, "Oh, you tell the sheriff I'm taking my money. I claim the reward on myself. I fucked all those guys up."
He said, "I'm claiming the reward," because they didn't say he was Robin of Lots or Rob of Lots.
Right.
They said that he is Robin in the Hood, and then it became Robin Hood. So this should have been someone completely different because he wasn't running with a big band before. It was like 4 of them. So they could
now they've got money and food, and Spraggart's got to have a role coming too because he was the poacher from episode 1. Like they said, "Oh, I know you. I'm nothing like you." Yeah, you are. We both hate these guys. He's obviously he's a professional. Like he's a professional thief, poacher, whatever. He'll have benefit to this group for sure. He's not just. I don't think he's going to tag her along. Now he might backstab him for money. He might be a turncoat. That might be a thing. But he's another interesting role to play because of that already established dynamic there. So as this group increases in size, they're adding interesting personalities. Obviously, Little John's going to become his best bud. That's going to happen, right? You got Spraggart.
Dude, he has a voice on him. Like I want him to narrate an audio book. Like
rumble, young man, rumble. Yeah. You touch it again, I'll bash you. He always, I'll bash you. That's going to be your prize. Okay, that's crazy. I would fuck with that dude. If they killed his dog, he's gonna go John Wick. He's gonna go Little John Wick.
Yeah, Little John Wick.
Title. Damn it. But I think Tuck is the interesting one out of this whole cavalcade of people that they've introduced to this group, because he's not the big fat drunk friar from Prince of Thieves.
No,
he's not the fat old guy from like the old Disney cartoon. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. He throw hands in a fight. They even comment on like, hey, you handled yourself back there. You're afraid of the Abbey.
And
You know?
it's one of the things
Thoughts?
I did like, because the way they were portraying Christianity was, the norms were like pretty much blasphemy, saying that they're Christians and they're bringing their book and they're break their gods. And like, this is like the guy who you would go and follow for Christianity, because it's about salvation and stuff like that.
Yep. Being
like,
found.
Yeah. He's more about what the book says than being a Christian.
Yep. No, he's a solid character too. He had a couple of great beats. I thought every conversation he has just with Robin
was meaningful.
He acts like the moral foil to his impulse. He gets him to question himself. Be like, no, I'm not your enemy. And Robin's like, and he quotes Latin, and then Tuck tells him, oh, you know your Bible. He says, it's not my Bible. And he has a meaningful response to that. So I like their vibe. I mean, he's gonna get Robin to be more of the peacemaker, like his father was trying to be, and then his mother told him, because he had that one great line. He's like, dude, you could kill the sheriff 1,000 times over, and it won't fill that hole. It won't fill the hole. All right. He says, if you kill the sheriff, will it make you feel better? And Robin says, no, but it'll make things right. And then he says, nah, you could kill him 1,000 times over, it wouldn't matter. Like, so they've already set him up as that great back and forth, but they've also set this Tuck up as being, like you said, he's for the faith. He's not for the church. He's for the faith.
He's for the faith. Yes.
Right. Because when they commit the robbery and the bishop finally shows his cowardly ass out of the carriage, Friar Tuck pimp slaps him like twice and yanks the jeweled crucifix right off his throat. Like, you're a fucking disgrace, dude. Yeah. To his face. Pretty ballsy. Yeah. Pretty ballsy. For a guy that was in cheap sandals and was afraid to going back to the Abbey for getting whipped.
Yeah, he had another great part too.
Oh yeah,
right beforehand.
Perfect comment.
Yeah, he's like
straight out of Firefly. Yep.
He's like, let me take my piece and give it to the poor. Where Ho starts the whole legend of Robin Hood. So that's what we're actually seeing. Because if you heard earlier, they said that was it her son. Richard is supposed to be the next king of England. And what about his brother, Prince John?
He's pretty.
Yeah. It's like he's not Richard.
Right. Richard the Lionheart, he is not. But yeah, I think like Pape said, that's a great comp there. Mal and Book for Tuck and Robin in this one. I think that's a meaningful relationship for him to have there, to expand his horizons, to help him get over the hump of wanting vengeance, because he even quotes him. He says, "No, our Lord says, vengeance is mine. That's not for you.
Yeah,
that's you. Let that shit go." Because they have that theological discussion. What would your God tell you? Kill them all. Like, oh, okay, that's great to go. That's great. That's a great line to cut to commercial. But it's going to be something he will invariably unlearn by the end of this show.
Yeah,
100%. Like that.
And like they were talking about, like, when it was only supposed to be 2 guards, to shoot the one guard in the leg and the other one will flee. That way you're not killing anybody, you're just robbing them. But when it became 6,
the motherfucker shot all 6 of them real quick. Yes, he did. Yeah, that all the Robin Hood stuff is good. The stuff in the palace, I think, needs to get more Game of Thrones before too long, or that might get boring to me. Like, I like when the Queen shows up, but there's only so much of Marion I can watch, kind of doddering around, changing bed sheets and talking to like the head scullery maid that was teaching her how to hang clothes on a line or whatever. Something needs to pick up there. I thought something interesting was going to happen when Will tried to kiss her, but they played that for a little bit of a laugh, which was fine.
Yeah. Good night, Will.
Good night, Will. She leaned in like a little bit, and she's like, "Nah, dog, I'm out." I like Celine. I think there's going to be some backhanded stabbery with that character somewhere, because she just looks a little too dark and smoldering and mysterious. Mm-hmm. But something needs to happen in that particular quadrant of this story. I'm going to be like, all right, back to Sherwood, back to the sheriff, back to Huntington, grieving father. That was another great scene too. Yeah, the sheriff's daughter pretending like she's going to stay the night. I'm like, I'll see again. Yeah. She's slick. cunning. I like that.
And then stole a horse and rode back to the
Stole the horse and
to
rode
Nottingham.
back, and it was like I'm back, bitches.
Yeah.
Almost got her squire killed and shit. Yeah, okay. Whatever, that's what they do.
So here's my question to you. Is it
Shoot.
been worth the $7.99 to
Yeah,
get this show?
yeah, definitely. Definitely, because it's I would have picked this show up on like Peacock or something if I was bored and watched the first episode and at least have been intrigued to watch more. If I already had the streaming service this was on, I would have watched it. For sure.
Now, is this show worth week to week, or would you rather have it in the binge style?
You know me, dude. I'm anti-binge because I feel like no one talks about shows, regardless if they're great or if they're terrible, once the moment's passed. And so like once that binge is done, it's over. The reason we can dunk on The Acolyte the way we do is because it's week to week. So one more bad thing happened every week that we could all get together and piss and moan and joke about with everybody that watches all these kind of channels to cover that shit. If it was a binge thing and we didn't watch it in real time and do it that one weekend, we couldn't do that in February. You know what I mean? Like there's value to watching shit the old way week to week. And I don't think this necessarily is a bingeable show because it doesn't always end on like the immediacy of a cliffhanger. Like we had that one episode where Rob's on the run, and then we had the episode 3 ended with now they're running from like Huntington's party that's pursuing through the woods. I mean, how did 4 just end? It's completely slipped my mind.
They told the sheriff about it was Robin Hood.
Oh, right.
That's how it ended.
But see, it wasn't somebody immediately in danger on the run. You know what I mean? So it didn't make me. I don't need to see episode 5 now. I can wait until Sunday and be like, oh, dude, let's fucking talk about episode 5, because it doesn't have that kind of pacing, and that's all right, dude. Not every show needs to be Twisted Metal, Fallout, like Game of Thrones.
Twisted Metal
like
week to week.
No, but I mean, but it's always got this relentless pace at the end of their episodes with something exploding literally.
Which it just got renewed for a 3rd season, and they said there's going to be major changes to the next season because
I didn't see season 2
because they said season 2 and season 1 is not playing well with audiences.
Oh, get out of here! I've heard decent things about the show so far, but we'll see what they do. I don't know. I'm not expert on the lore of that game, so not that there's a whole lot. I don't think. But for this show here, I'm down for watching it. I'm down for watching it for sure. I don't know that I'll keep MGM Plus when it's over unless I see a bunch of crap that doesn't cross exist on Prime and the other shit we have. What about you? Would you need this all in a 8-episode binge, or is the week to week working for you?
No, it's fine with me. I'm enjoying the show. I'm glad I got it for $7.99 and I saw that trailer that one day. That kind of led to all of this. So yeah, it's been a great surprise to find on the most obscure streaming service out there, MGM Plus.
Way to put it. Yeah, it's the best way to put it for sure. But so how many we have? What, 4 more for this one too?
I believe so.
True. Yeah. No, we'll finish the show up and we'll do like a whole series.
No, I believe this one's 10. I believe this one's 10.
Okay,
so we
got another 6 weeks
because it's taking us into January.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it's definitely got 6. So we'll do a full series wrap up score. I don't want to score this one week to week because I feel like it's just been perfectly even so far. Like nothing has been over the top amazing or completely bottomed out. So we'll see. I think we have that as well up here too, Pape. Pape says he has MGM Movie Channel on cable. I think that's one of the ones on our we have Spectrum up here. I think that's part of our package as well. But yeah, dude, let's why don't we take off so we can cut this stuff up and you can say thanks and goodbye to everybody. Lauren and Pape.
We gotta wrap up the poll first.
Poll. How do I always forget the poll?
I don't know.
Give me some poll
All right.
results.
So if you don't remember, our poll question of the week was, what is your favorite season of Stranger Things so far? And winning with 55% of the vote is season 1, the OG.
55? That's it?
55% of the vote.
Yikes.
On 11 votes. We got 11 votes on this one.
Slapping good.
Number 2 with 27% of the vote is season 4.
I could see that. Recency bias is a thing.
And season 2 and season 3 both tied with 9%.
I could see that. I'm surprised that season 1 didn't run away with this, being that if you told me at gunpoint that I had to lose a memory of seasons 2 through 4, like I wouldn't care. I'd be like, just as long as I have season 1, I'm good. Because like we were saying, it's just that it has a whole story contained, and it's the best that the show had to offer by far. I would take that without a doubt. All right, but now you can feel free to do the. I think season 4 was high because of Eddie. Great point, Oracle. I think a lot of people got attached to that, and they gave him the most heroic ending any character has had on that show. Hands
Plus
down.
the whole Metallica solo piece.
Yo, yeah, dude, that was badass. I voted 4 just cause. I can respect that. I can respect that. All right, King, why don't you let everybody know what the plan is and stuff, or good nights, whatever you do here. I don't know, whatever. It's late.
Well, see ya.